What's good? What's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Days Only podcast with me, your boy OP. In the morning, it's the morning right now. I am a couple cups of coffee deep already. It's actually 9 a.m. Should be 10 a.m. So that's what's throwing me off. You know, daylight savings. We'll get into that in a little bit. But welcome. Episode number 44, dude. 44. Shoot, we're almost to 50. But before that, we're almost to 45, which means another GDO giveaway. So, I want to just give this in the intro here because I know that not everybody gets to listen through each episode all the way through, and that's fine. That's the power of podcasts, you know. Pick it up whenever you want, put it down whenever you want. But yes, episode 45, we're going to be doing a caffeine giveaway. So stay tuned to the GDO Instagram page for more on that and how to enter that giveaway, that drawing. So, but episode 44, welcome. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you for joining us. Good coffee, good vibes, good music, everything we're going to be getting into today. And if it's not your first time listening, welcome back. Thanks for rocking with your boy. And yeah, dude, let's get into it, huh? I'm a bit caffeinated. I hope you are as well. Let's get into the caffeine breakdown right now. Yo, all right. And for the caffeine breakdown today, episode 44, we are actually revisiting a coffee roaster, a coffee master that dude, I have not shut up about this coffee roasting team since the first time I tried their product, actually, because I remember and I probably said this on here several times, but this was one of the first times that I recall, the tasting notes that it had on the coffee bag. When they're like, oh, the blueberry, the lemon zest, some fruity notes of whatever you got, but with this one, the first time I ever tried it, it actually hit spot on. It was like, and I remember it was blueberry, and I want to say it was like a Yirgacheffe or Yirgacheffe. I always forget the pronunciation, but the beans, whatever. What I'm talking about is Blossom Coffee Roasters, dude. Blossom Coffee Roasters coming at us with another grade A MF and bag of caffeine right here. Some precious little beans. This coffee roaster, just a brief touch on where they're out of. So Pat and Don Laraz been running the game since 2003 out of Vashon Island. They set out on a mission to provide people with an experience of sweeter, more impactful, and better tasting cup of coffee. That's what their mission was. Since 2003, it's almost been 20 years. Way to go. And they keep hitting us with that grade A caffeine specialty coffee. But I'm gonna keep it right there. All right, Blossom Coffee Roasters. Look them up, Google them, Blossom Coffee Roasters.com, and get yourself some delicious beans delivered to your doorstep. They got a bunch of single origin specialty coffees and some awesome blends. One of which we got in front of us right here. Tried a couple of their blends before, and if you're interested in more of that information about Blossom's background, listen to episode number 34. I think it was 34. Yeah, 34. Damn, 10 episodes ago. That's kind of wild, no? Shoot, we out here. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. Let me get a little sip actually real quick before we get into this too deep. And I hope I'm not too muffled. I'm trying some new settings out on this new microphone, a new setup that we got right here. So hopefully it comes out all right. I don't even got headphones on right now, so we'll see. We'll see how the product comes out. But this bag of beans, yes, let's get into this. And we're keeping it simple with the name on this one. We got a French roast. Oui. Organic. And the beans right here, the origins come from Colombia and Guatemala. we got a fully washed process, and some tasting notes from the Blossom Coffee roasting team. They tell us they get a rich, smooth, big body, burnt sugars. Tell me that don't sound delicious. Whew. Yes, I too get that. Although, actually, let me see. I think this is one of those situations where I'm not sure if I had maybe it was just because of the acidity that I wasn't expecting. I don't know. I got a little bit of fruity in there at the same time, at first, but it might have been those burnt sugars. I don't know. My mouth might have just been adjusting. It was the first sip. After that, I do get, we go back to what we know and love, that darker roast, right? If you've been rocking with us since episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we talk about the darker the better, right? And it's actually kind of funny. I was talking about this with somebody the other day, because I used to just be dark roast, French roast only, right? But now I've noticed in the last probably 10 bags of coffee that I've had, they're all at least medium roast and some light roast in there too. So I guess it's just about that exposure, the more you try stuff, the more eclectic your palate gets. Come on. Let's read a little bit about this French roast. So, Blossom tells us here, this is a classic dark roasted blend. In fact, this is the farthest and darkest we will go for our coffees, but ultimately, it is a nostalgic flavor affair for the most traditional and conservative coffee drinkers. This blend will boast with rich, full-body qualities and a thick depth of classic dark chocolate and burnt sugar flavors. Yeah, I get that. And then the aroma as well. This is just that classic, woo, loud beep. This is just that classic, you walk into a coffee shop and you just get that deep, dark, rich smell, You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Let's see. So let's continue. We roast this well into sugar browning, or well past first crack. However, we do not reach second crack, making this still desirable as a dark roast without tasting like bitter bark or carbon. For our classic or traditional cafes or consumers, we find that this also makes a great house espresso offering. All right. Sounds like, this is the thing. I got to pull the trigger on an espresso machine. Still don't have an espresso machine. The closest to that I think that we get is the little plunger boy. Was it the AeroPress? But yeah, and I tried the stovetop espresso maker. Doesn't really... I didn't like it. TBH, sorry. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm most likely doing it wrong. But it just came out very sludgy on the stovetop. Anyways, yes. Espresso, I could see this. That would be very delicious. Yeah, full body, smooth, rich flavors. The burnt sugars kind of give it a little bit of that essence of sweetness. Maybe that's what I was getting in that first sip. But now, yeah, I do see, all those the classic notes that we're talking about. That big body, that smoky, a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about these terms that they were using in there, though. We roast into the sugar browning and past the first crack. I have this little book that I was gifted. Shout out Montes. It's called Stuff Every Coffee Lover Should Know by Candace Rose Rardon or Rardon. And part of this here, there's a roasting section. And I was looking at this and wanted to just, pass on some knowledge. That's what it's all about, right? Learning from other people, learning new things, new experiences. So here you go. We're going to talk about roasting a little bit. So let me see. I'm going to just read this, Roasting is both a science and an art. It requires precision and a grasp of thermodynamics, yet it's also intensely personal. two roasters might have two very different opinions on how to roast a particular coffee. Most roasters start out with the same tool, a drum roaster, which has a heated rotating cylinder, and they work with the same two variables, temperature and time. All right, easy peasy. As soon as the beans start heating up, a variety of processes is kicked off. And so these are the processes here. And this is where they're talking about the sugar browning and the first crack, second crack, yada, yada, yada. Evaporation is the first step, though, all right? So keep up with me here. Green coffee beans are dense beasts. Beasts? Damn. Brutal. But thanks to moisture evaporating, they lose about 15 to 20% of their weight during roasting. So we get the moisture out of there with the evaporation stage. Then there's a Maillard reaction. All right. While the beans are lightening, and I've heard this before. Yeah. It talks about it here too. Okay. So Maillard reaction. While the beans are lightening up weight-wise as they roast, they're growing darker in color because of a chemical reaction. You may not recognize it by the name, but you've undoubtedly seen the Maillard reaction at work. Just as a steak turns brown as it cooks, so too do roasting coffee beans. That's where I've heard it before, is with steak. So cool. All right, so that's step 2, the Maillard reaction. Then we get into the caramelization of the sugars. This is what they talk about at Blossom here. Remember all those complex sugars we love in coffee? Now is the time when they start to caramelize inside the beans and develop a serious flavor. All right, so soon after the caramelization of the sugars, we get then what they were referring to as the first crack. At last, it's time for the grand finale. All these reactions are leading up to the big moment, a physical crack that you can very much hear, just as if you were making popcorn. It signals a great release of carbon dioxide and heat, which causes the beans to double in size. It also opens up the coffee beans so they won't be dense as they were before. At this point, then, roasters will either remove the beans after the first crack for a light or medium roast, or keep cooking them until the second crack sounds for a dark roast. There are 3 main levels of roasting, which are associated with common roast names, blah, 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 light, medium, dark, and then they get through the... Anyways, that's pretty interesting, huh? Pretty interesting. Fun facts. There you go. Take them, put them into the back pocket for next time that you're at a cafe talking, having a cup of joe with a friend, long lost friend, touching base or whatever. Anyways, cool. So there's that little tidbit of information, because I was like, what is that? Well into the sugar browning. Didn't know what that was, but now we do. Yeah, this is a cool little handy pocket book. It's got like 160 pages, and it's just like jam-packed full of a bunch of information. There's some really cool history in here too, that maybe we can save for a different episode, because there's just so much stuff that's like, it's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. Yeah. We'll save that for the future. Because I do want to get into, so brew style, boom, hit this French roast with the French press. You know what it is. You know how it goes. Got a nice cup right here. I'm going to take another little sip real quick. Yeah, see, we're tiptoeing back in that direction of the dark roast, but it's not like a, that BBO, that Bad Bitches Only from Groundworks. Like, that was dark. But it's not, it still has some essence of the Blossom essence, the Blossom essence, the sweeter. They want to get you that sweeter cup of joe, which I appreciate. It's good. The appearance and packaging, dude. This bag right here, 10 out of 10. More people should take notes from Blossom Coffee Roasters packaging style. This bag, you got the little bee, you got the logo, the little flower with the blossom, you got the little bees around it that look like they're going, into that flower, and what's the term? What's the word called? When you drink so much coffee that you start forgetting things. It almost has like a negative effect from what it's supposed to be doing to you. What's the Blossom Coffee Roasters? Oh, it's got their address right here. 15315 82nd Place, Southwest Vashon, Washington. Vashon Island, man. I still never been out there. We definitely got to hop on a ferry and go, explore. I've heard really great things. It's a cool, biking. A lot of people that bike like to go out there and bike around. I think there's a trail or a road that goes around the entire island, which would be pretty cool. There's a near Vashon Island. I want to say this is true. Near Vashon Island, I think is the narrowest point between the Puget Sound towards the ocean and orca whales, and a lot of whales pass through there, and they get pretty close to the shore because it's so narrow of a little strait, which would be pretty cool. Still never seen an orca out in action, out in the wild. Maybe actually there was one time that I thought I did. We were on a ferry. I think it was the Kingston Ferry. Nah, I don't know. Probably making it up. But Vashon Island, dude, been around for a hot minute. Looks like I had pulled up some info about Vashon Island here. Vashon Island, sitting in the midpoint of the Puget Sound, south of the southern Puget Sound, between Seattle and Tacoma. The first non-American Indian to chart this island was Captain George Vancouver. Captain Vancouver. During his surveys of the Puget Sound area with the British Royal Navy. Oh, during those surveys with the British Royal Navy. A British Royal Navy bloke, originally a smaller island sat to Vashon Island's southeast side. Captain Vancouver named the main island Vashon after a fellow captain in 1792. Aw, just naming islands after one of your bros. That's pretty cool. 50 years later, the smaller isle was given the name Maury Island after a British Navy crewmate. Oh, yeah, dude, he's just handing out names for islands for the squad. That's pretty cool. These two landmasses remained separated by water until local landowners decided to build an earth bridge or isthmus, linking them together in 1916. Okay, cool. So those two didn't used to be linked together. I guess they're linked together. I don't know. Still never been out there, so I couldn't say. But let's move on to the next section here. I think I'm rambling a little bit about this coffee. French roast, delicious beans, Blossom Coffee Roaster. Check them out. It's blossomcoffeeroasters.com, spelled exactly how you would think it's spelled. And they're also on Instagram, and you'll see a post in the GDO podcast page. And I'll tag them in there, so you'll be able to find them and check out their stuff, because they got some good beans, man. If you couldn't tell by me just talking. Holy shit. All right, let's move into the next section. Some good vibes here. Some good vibes. Let's go. What's good? What's good? Hope you're ready for some good vibes. Good vibes. Oh, man. Dude, a lot of good things been happening as of late. We focus on the positives. Glass half full, growth mindset. We can do whatever we set our minds to. Right? Come on. Shoot. I do want to say, though, spooky season, on a sad note first. Spooky season comes to a close. That's all right. I hope y'all had a wonderful time and safe time celebrating. If you celebrate Halloween, we did. We celebrated. We ate too much candy. We've been watching scary movies the whole month of October, which, hey, that won't stop. I think there's a little bit of spooky season that you can sprinkle in throughout the year. There's always a little bit. It's good to get a little scared every once in a while, I think. No, it's good just to remember, oh, I ain't that hot shit. I ain't that really that hot, I could still get scared when it gets dark. When it's too dark. Yeah. I mean, dude, on that same line, I freaked myself out maybe a week or two ago. And I feel like most people can relate to this. Most people have had a situation like this because we've all heard of the witching hour, right? Like the witching hour, when you wake up, or it's like, I think there are a couple different definitions. I always thought the witching hour was like 3 a.m., but then I looked it up and it says it's like midnight. But for those of you who may not know, right, the witching hour is like referred to as this time in the middle of the night where the witches and demons and like the devil, right, they're at their strongest point, right? They have their most powerful state or whatever. And I remember seeing this as a kid in a movie, and I think it was The Exorcist where this came out, and it was like 3 a.m. or 3:09, and every time that the clock would strike that time, then like some crazy stuff would just start happening, right? People would be dying, jumping off roofs or whatever. But straight up for like a week ago, just leading up to Halloween too, which is pretty freaky, I was like waking up just random, just hella random. But every time I was like woke up in a panic, because I thought I was missing my alarm or something. And then it would be like 3:06 or like 3:15. And I was like, oh shoot, here we go. Like every time I woke up and I saw it, I was just like expecting to just see like something or hear something. And then like, when you start thinking like, oh shit, I'm gonna, like when you get freaked out like that in the middle of the night, whatever, dude, everybody does. I don't care if you're 15 or if you're 50. You wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and you're like, what the hell was that sound? And whatever your reasons are, whether you think it's like somebody that's like breaking into your apartment or your house, or if you think it's like a demon or a goblin or a ghost, there's like something that scares everybody, right? But in this case, I was like, focusing like hyper aware of like everything that's going on. And so any little crink or any little like tap or like sound that happens. And of course it's 3 a.m. So it's like, there's not really anything that should be going on. I don't know. And it was like a Tuesday night, but then because we're getting into the cold season now, right? It's November, the heater starts going off, right? And so the pipes throughout the building start, making weird sounds and stuff. And so I think that's what was going on. And then I just got in my own head, and then it's like 3:30, and then it's like, all right, I just got to wake up at 5 a.m. anyways. So I just stay up. And so it sucks. Anyways, I hope that you're able to get a good night's sleep these days. That you guys are doing some meditating. Because after drinking all this coffee, we got to do something to help us wind down. Whether it's, work out, read a book, do something that's calms you down before you go to bed. That's the PSA. Yeah, dude, that witching hour though. I don't know if you believe in that or anything, but Mexicans are superstitious. So, 3 a.m. comes around and I'm under the covers. I ain't trying to be up and about. What else, dude? So spooky season, yeah, man, has come to a close, but we're getting into more of the holiday, Christmas stuff is popping up in the stores, which is a little too soon for that in my opinion, but people gonna do what they gonna do. I get it. Some people like putting up the Christmas decorations. They look cute. It's fine. But yeah, and then we got Thanksgiving coming up. So we're in the latter half of leaf peeping season right now, actually. Let's back up. I hope that y'all have been able to go out and do some leaf peeping. If you got that pumpkin spice, in your hand, and you go out and go drive down some nice leaf peeping prime real estate road out here in the Pacific Northwest. There's some good ones up towards Bellingham, some good leaf peeping roads where you could just coast, like 10, 25 miles an hour and just like watch all the leaves. For those of you that don't know what leaf peeping is a thing. Maybe not so much in the Pacific Northwest because we don't really have many trees. Like we just got, evergreens mainly. But leaf peeping is huge in like over on the East Coast. I think like Vermont comes to mind first, and I don't know why. Probably for a good reason. Vermont, like Virginia, places where leaf peeping is like from October, maybe like mid-October to like mid-November, or maybe a little bit sooner, maybe like the whole month of October. But in this time where all the leaves are changing colors. And so people go out and, take pictures or just go and, I don't know, drive and watch the leaves, I guess. And it's funny because this all started as a joke. I was like, oh yeah, leaf peeping. Oh. But now I catch myself doing it. I'm like, oh, look at those trees, dude. Wow, so beautiful and red and orange and whatever. And it's cool. It's cool. It's Mother Nature. This is just like the seasons are changing and she's letting us know, hey, you better bundle up next time you walk out here. If you see my leaves turning orange, like, put on an extra layer. Don't want to be getting the sniffles. So latter half of leaf peeping season, the leaves are falling. And what else is falling? Us. We're falling back. Talking about daylight savings time. That hit today. Today's what? November 6th. Sunday, November 6th. And it sucks because now we're even more so going to be in the dark up here in the Pacific Northwest, dude. We sunrise is like at 7 or something, 7:30. I don't know. Might be exaggerating that a little bit, but that's what it feels like. Like you wake up and it's dark and you go and walk the dog or whatever you're doing and it's dark. And this is like dark where like you don't even see the sun like actually rising. Like you don't see it on the horizon. You don't see a little bit of that glow behind the mountains. It's just fucking pitch black. It's dark. And then you go to work and it's like gloomy all day because the clouds, whatever. We're in Seattle. Don't complain about it. You know what you moved to. And then, you go all day and then you come out of the day as I'm complaining. And then you come out of work and then it's dark again. It's just like, yo, what? I heard there was this thing going around, or there was something in, I don't know how much truth there is to this because I didn't click the link and I didn't actually read any articles. I just saw headlines. So here I go. Hopefully I'm not passing along misinformation. Please look this up. Something about Seattle opting to like not participate in daylight savings time. So just like changing the time of the day and then just like sticking with it or something like that, which then I saw somebody else responded to and was like, dude, if we do this, then we're pretty much just like in the Alaska time zone, which makes sense in my mind. Maybe, I don't know. Is Alaska an hour behind us? If so, then it's just going to be darker for more time throughout the winter months. I don't know. Thoughts? Who knows? Let me know what you think. Shoot me a DM. I'd like to discuss because I don't know if I'm down for this. It's too dark. It's too dark out here. I'm gonna get a little sip real quick. But with the leaves falling, dude, I was thinking about this. Actually, yes. So leaves falling, biking is dangerous. Be careful. If there are leaves on the ground, those MFers, dude, they become, it's like almost like ice. Like, I swear, like if you're not quite as bad as ice, but it's in, it's kind of a lily pad, a stepping stone to the ice. The leaves, dude, is crazy. People fall. People be falling. And like I saw somebody almost like somebody fishtailed the other day on a bike. And somebody was walking and just like slipped on a leaf too. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like bananas, in video games. And, but yeah, sometimes how the leaves fall and then there's just like a bunch of them in one area. There's just like one intersection right by our apartment where there's like this nice turn, right? And so like on a nice summer day when you're walking your dog or you're biking down the path, like it's cool. It's fun, when there's no potentially hazardous like slipping hazard here. But these leaves falling, they don't look like they're going to be too slick. And then you climb up on them and then they laugh at you when you fall and your face is eating them. Because, dude, I almost ate it the other day. I was like going down this hill and there's a couple leaves in front of me and I needed to brake because there was a car coming. And this is that same like turn that I'm talking about right by our apartment complex right here. And there's a bunch of leaves on the ground. And so I slam on the brakes. Rear rear tire starts coming around to the front, dude. And I'm in Tokyo Drift. I hear that song playing in my head. Ding, 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 ding. You know that song? And then like all of a sudden I somehow hit just a little patch that's not covered in leaves, and that comes, I come back to normal. But you know how your boy does it. We out here, we balance, we keep our balance, we stretch, we do a little bit of yoga every once in a while. So I was able to just kind of wrangle it back in, get it back in. But if you're not that fortunate, you could be toppling over, and there it goes. Reminder, wear your helmet. And with that, since I'm talking about commutes, bikes, might be back on the Lime Scooter gang, dude. I might be back on that Lime Scooter gang. If you tuned into, I don't know what episode it was, but it was a while ago, we talked about it and broke down the different scooters, which now there's not even that many. Like it's weird. They like, whoever it is that's in charge of these scooters and like bikes and stuff, you've seen them around. There's like a new one that's called like, it always reminds me of Vimeo. It's not Vimeo. It's like Veo or Vio, something like that. It's like a little, pretty much a moped that you can like rent. Haven't rented it. Don't know how much it costs, but, so several episodes ago, we did a breakdown about which scooters were the best, like those public scooters. And the Link scooter at the time was my favorite, right? Because it was the most space, it was the cheapest, most affordable, and like, you could actually like stand on the whole thing for an adult sized male. And then the brakes were great, the battery was great, and the power, like going uphill, was awesome. Now, I think it's just like, because they've just been used so much, especially around the Seattle area, these hills. I don't know if they're just kind of like falling off a little bit, but then there's also been the reintroduction of bird scooters, which I haven't hopped on a bird scooter since like I originally tried those like way back in the day, maybe like 5-6 years ago. So I don't know how those are, but the Lime scooters, dude, I had some big beef. I had some beef with Lime scooters before, because if you recall the story, I was going down the street, right, on the commute to work. Normal day, going to work, and I was like running a little bit late, and so I just needed to hop on a scooter real quick and mob the rest of the way. So here I am. I'm like, hell yeah, found this Lime scooter, and you check the brakes, make sure that they're working. And yeah, they work, because sometimes, some of them are more loose than others. And so I check the brakes, fine, perfect. I do the little scan thing, and it ding, 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 or whatever, the little song. And then I start going, right? So I'm going, and this Lime scooter, not my favorite, but it was the only one that was around, because it's a little bit smaller. The battery's not as great. The power, like the speed isn't as great. And I'm running late, right? I need to get to work. And, so here I'm going down the road, very bumpy road. And so I come up to this pretty busy intersection, and I had to like just stop real quick. As I'm coming up to this intersection, I pull on the brake, and the fucking thing snaps, dude. The brake, like the wire snaps, dude. Snaps. And I'm going probably 12 miles an hour, whatever this thing tops out at, right? And so it snaps, and I'm like, oh shit. I tried the other brake. The other brake, for some reason, is like just the like lamest little brake of all time. Like it's like slowing down, but not nearly, you know what I'm saying? Like it's slowing down just a little bit, but it's kind of like it was like there's like a child lock on the brake so that you can't brake fully for some reason, like a reverse child lock almost, doesn't make any sense. Anyways, the wire snaps, and I'm just going full throttle, and I'm like, okay, I need to decide. It was like one of those videos where like, it was at this moment that Octavio knew he fucked up. Those videos? So I just was like, dude, I'm gonna have to bail. Luckily, I remembered right in that moment, dude. Look at this memory recall. I remembered this thing that skateboarders do to slow down when you're going too fast, and you just drag that foot, dude. I had some shoes. I was like, you know what? I don't care about these shoes as much as I care about my life, right? So just drag that toe and slowly came to a stop. No thanks to any of the brakes. So yeah, Lime scooters was at the bottom of the list for me until a recent transaction / ride, because the Lime scooters have actually upped their game, dude. And also, I think there's a new design on the Lime bikes. The Lime bikes are also beefed up. They got new battery packs. They got like wider stance, a platform for the scooters, and then like the bikes. I don't know. I haven't tried them, but they look much nicer. And so I tried one of these new Lime ones, and dude, it might have replaced the Link scooters. TBH. The battery, everything is just much better, and the brakes actually work. So that's a plus. But yeah, so if you're, and it's cheaper. Actually, that's the other thing. It's cheaper because the Link scooters, the one thing that I liked about them, one of the things I liked about them was that they were cheap, but now they charge you like a $10, holding fee or whatever when you first scan. I'm like, what do you think I am, a millionaire? No, I didn't win the Powerball. That sucks. Yeah. So anyways, Lime Scooter Gang, try those out. It's only a $1 fee that it charges you or whatever. So on to the next thing. What else is going on? Dude, I actually wanted to share this story, and it's embarrassing. Let me get a little sip real quick before I embarrass myself. This is to, I hope, I'm just putting this out there to let everybody know that we all make mistakes, and this is the things that you learn from these mistakes, right? Just to preface a little bit of this next story, because LOL, dude, I wanted to just curl up into a ball and like not talk to anybody after this happened, but it ended up being fine. It's okay, because it is what it is. Who cares, dude? It's fine. So this is what happened. The team, the organization that I work with, for those of you that know, like, it's a cool organization, great values, and we, one of the things that I've learned a lot, or what one of the things that I really appreciate, is one of the values of connecting with others, right? Connecting with people, learning what makes them tick, like building strong relationships, but then also like maintaining those relationships, right? And so there's been some movement going on in the org, and so I'm like, yo, I just got a new gig. I'm going to just give a little update to everybody, a lot of people that I have looked to for mentorship, and like people that have just helped me out and answered my questions, and people that I've just connected with, right? I want to like maintain and like keep these relationships going. And so here I am. I'm like, I'm going to send a nice email, like a thankful, just like a solid email to all these people. And these people range from just, colleagues, like front facing, like patient care, us that are on the ground, like MAs and doctor, but then like doctors and like leadership, and some of the people, like, I'm like just trying to word this as nicely as I can, right? Being professional and saying thank you, right? So this email, I'm like, hell yeah, I feel good about it. It's like a couple paragraphs, right? And then like, I also just wanted to like keep it, if you text me, if you message me, I like the emojis. Emojis are what makes like a text message or a email Actually, I haven't really ever used emojis in emails until this one for some reason, but it does what it's meant to do, is right. It gives a little bit of emotion to your message. Otherwise, it's just kind of like, it feels kind of like you're like standoffish maybe. And this is just in my opinion. I don't know. In a text message, when I get a text message and it's like, sounds good, period. That's like, okay, do you hate me? Or like, what did I say? You know, versus sounds good, smiley face with the rosy cheeks. Hey, you're like, oh, okay, sounds good. Sick. They like don't hate me after whatever the text interaction was, right? So I'm a huge fan of emojis. Anyways, this whole email, it was like five paragraphs. And then in the middle there, I'm like, I'm going to just put a little emoji in here because it just shows like a little bit of emotion. It's not so robotic, right? It's not so like, oh, I am this professional. Hello. It's just a little emoji. And so I type it up, and then I'm like, all right, I feel good about this. And I send it. And there's probably like 30 something people on this email, right? And I send this email off, and then all of a sudden I get this screenshot from one of the recipients of the email. And I get a response to the email from a different person. And the screenshot was my email, but it was just a blank fucking screen, dude. It's straight up like the screenshot was just like a blank email. And then right in the middle of the email, there's an emoji. And it's just like the little guy, the little emoji that has a little bead of sweat where it's like, huh, that kind of like that emoji. That's that. And it's like fits so perfectly because like it's just a blank email. It's like straight up. Oh my God. I'm just like getting embarrassed just thinking about it again. But so I send this email and it's just got a blank nothing. There's nothing. And then I look at the screenshot, right? And then I look at the response from one of the other recipients in the email, and then it's like, hey, FYI, you sent this email in invisible text, dude. What? Dude, what? What even is invisible text? Who? Anyway, so I was like, oh, great, dude. And this is like, just like last week. It was just last week or a week and a half ago that I sent this email. And I just was like, this is horrible, dude. Oh my gosh. And in that moment I was freaking out, right? Well, it was one of those things where like you can't really do anything but laugh. So dude, there I was, just blank email, invisible email, with one emoji. So then I had to like type up, so I just like redid the email, and then, because you know what it is. So here's the good news, a little tidbit of information for y'all that send emails on your iPhone. Be sure that you're not sending it with invisible text, because I guess that's an iPhone thing. I like Googled it, I looked around, and it was that's like an iPhone thing where you can send invisible text, not just in email, but I think just like anywhere you can just send invisible text. So make sure that you're not sending your emails to your professional colleagues in invisible text. That's the silver lining here that we've all learned. You're welcome. For being for being the guinea pig of that. Yeah, dude. So that sucked. And then I'd resent it, and I was like, LOL, sorry you got that blank email. Here's a different one with all the information. Hope you guys can see it. Yikes. But, so yeah, I mean, good thing here is I'm never going to probably send an invisible email again. And, now we all know that invisible ink is an option in your iPhone. So whoever decided to do that, iPhone people, boo. Everybody boo them, because that's lame. Why is that even an option? Anyways, yeah, so that's that. That's my life, huh? How's everybody doing out there? Let's move on to the next thing before we get into the GDO playlist. we're going to be doing the GDO giveaway. All right. So please keep eyes on your IG. I know sometimes, we go through these phases where we like delete the app off your phone or whatever. But if that's you, re-download that app at least for the next week or two, because we're going to be doing a GDO giveaway. So any of the bags of beans, pending availability, of course, because some of the things are seasonal, but it'll be an opportunity for you to try one of the coffees that we've gone over in the last 44 episodes. So there are going to be some limitations on there. I know that a while ago there was, we tried that Patron coffee liqueur, that coffee Patron that we had tried, which absolutely delicious. If you can find it, please purchase that for yourself or for your loved ones with the holiday season coming up. If you booze around the holiday season, I don't know. But yeah. So caffeine giveaway, stay tuned. There will be instructions on how to participate in that, and looking forward to it. It's always fun. Especially with the the seasons coming up, the like Thanksgiving, being thankful, the Christmas season, just giving back, giving things away. It's fun. So yeah, that's that. And more to come on the Instagram for the GDO page. So without further ado, let's get into the GDO playlist. All right, I know. There's been some great music dropping recently, but couldn't decide on an artist to pick apart from the rest that have dropped some recent projects. I know Smeezy F Baby and F is Fofinito, Smino dropped a new album. Drake and 21 Savage dropped some gym bangers for the rap and hip hop crews. Arctic Monkeys actually came out with a new one called The Car, which is some smooth listening from a couple tracks I've heard so far. Of course, Taylor Swift dropped a new album recently titled Midnights. Although, this isn't really my cup of tea. There's a song that goes in, dude. There's a song that goes in. If you haven't listened to that album, it's called Midnights again. But the overall project, not my favorite of hers. But there's a song called Vigilante Shit. And this song is definitely, it's not going to make it on the fall playlist, but definitely like a gym playlist for sure. It's on my gym playlist now. I don't care. Whether you're hopping on like the treadmill, just to do some cardio, or if you're squatting 405 for reps, dude, if you need to get in that zone, this song can help get you in that zone. She's in the some of the lyrics. I don't dress for women. I don't dress for men. Lately, I've been dressing for revenge. Shit, that right there tells you already, like, it's that comeback season. I'm coming after you. This is revenge shit right here. Yeah. So okay, got on a tangent. That's just some albums that have come out recently. But for this playlist, for this GDO playlist, what are we doing? We're getting, like we were talking about on the latter half. We're in the latter half of leaf peeping season, so it's time for a nice cozy fall playlist. All right. So we're going to hit you with a little bit of, some sad white girl music, maybe, but also some warm, cozy vibes. We're going to have some Hozier, some Mumford & Sons, of course, some Ed Sheeran. All right. Norah Jones for sure. We'll have some Taylor Swift in there. Don't you fret. Some Folklore and Evermore. Those albums, they actually popped off for the fall season. So it'll be some cozy fall vibes. Think of this playlist as something that you can put on in the background, while going on the final leaf peeping drive for the season, or hosting, friends and fam over for Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving, when you just want some smooth sounds to fill any potentially awkward silence, if you got that, So nothing too, too heavy, too poppy here, but we're going to have some strings, we're going to have some good vocals, we're going to have some probably some pretty complex, bridges, probably, but, yeah, so the GDO fall playlist, gonna make this collaborative every time, we've been doing that recently. So, hop on, follow the links in the description, go to the GDO playlist, and you can download it. If you download it, then it's saved. Then the next time that you're like, oh man, I am driving out in the middle of nowhere, or I don't have service for whatever reason, but I want to play some music that I love, right? So take a listen to the playlist. You can download them if you're on a 5-hour flight and you need a little something to get you to sleep. This fall playlist might get you there. Might be a little snooze, press play and snooze on the 8-hour flight to wherever you're going on your next vacation, right? Shoot, but yeah. So keep an eye out in the links will be at the description of this podcast. Tune into that fall playlist. And we're getting into the winter months, dude. You got to start, if you haven't already chopped the firewood, I hope you already chopped the firewood and is ready to go, because we're going to be needing that here shortly. Snow's in the forecast up here in the Pacific Northwest, up in Seattle, which we don't really usually get snow this early, I don't think. It's November. I guess so. Yeah, we get snow. But it's the beginning of November, which is kind of crazy. And snow falling. Perfect time for a fall playlist, right? Okay, well, that's it for the episode today, episode 44. Stay tuned to that GDO podcast Instagram page, because we're going to be talking a little bit more about that giveaway coming up. All right, but yeah, let's wrap this up. Thanks for rocking with your boy. Thanks for staying tuned to the very end. And a couple weeks we'll TTYL. Talk to you next time. Talk to you later. Stay warm out there. Until next time. Mwah.